All right, guys, I'm AOA, and this is AOA The Shed. Today we got Brandon S. Olvera.
Yes, sir.
Sir, man, take us back. What was your childhood
Oh man, it's I don't even know where to begin to be honest. I grew up in Chapel Oaks and then I went to a trailer park and I feel like my parents weren't together very long and I don't know, I guess for lack of a better words, it was pretty hectic and chaotic. Um Man, I like this might be too much for this interview type shit, but one of my mom's ex-boyfriends tried to kill us and like set the apartment on fire. We was living in the apartments behind AutoZone, off of Clinton, and that was just a really big thing to reflect on for me because I feel like surviving that just like was one of the big things that made me realize like I have a lot of purpose with my life. And even though my parents didn't have like a good relationship, I feel like I learned a lot from like not really being able to rely on my parents, and it forced me to mature a lot faster and figure out life a lot earlier and stuff.
When did the fire happen? How old were you?
I think I had to have been 4 or 3 because I don't really remember it, but my older sister remembers it, and there was a letter too that he wrote to my mom, the guy who did it, while he was in prison and shit. But I was really young. I don't remember any of it.
You don't know any of the reason why you did the context looking back?
Well, I do a little bit, and this is really deep too. I mean, like honestly, my mom wasn't a faithful woman type shit, and in the letter he said he did it because uh her kids was all she cared about, and that was the only way it could hurt
Yeah. All right, that's terrible, man.
her. I hate to start the interview like that, but that's kind of what the childhood was like, to be real. Before five, too.
So let's say going into middle school, what was going on? Were you playing activities, distracting yourself?
Yeah. I feel like middle school was like the happiest part of my life for sure. Um, my mom was married, and we had a house that was consistent. And I went to Jefferson, and honestly, all my best friends that I still have to this day, I met while I was in middle school. But most of the kids, most of them didn't actually go to school with me or was in the same grade. We just grew up in the neighborhood together, and we just was running around, riding bikes and playing in creeks and fucking smoking weed and shit. Typical badass kid shit. And yeah, man, that was like Call of Duty Black Ops and just going to the gas station and getting snacks. And I was playing sports. I was playing football and running track. I love playing sports. I recently picked up tennis because of how much I love playing sports. I haven't played sports since school, really.
Were you into music?
No, actually, I didn't pick up music until high school.
What was high school? What was going on in high school that made you pick it up in life?
I think the big thing that pushed me towards that was getting expelled for weed. And at the time, I had discovered Chance the Rapper's mixtape 10 Day.
Mm-hmm.
And, he got suspended for 10 days and he made the whole mixtape. And I was like, well, I'm expelled. Like, let's start making some music. And my one buddy, Steven, he was always freestyling. And, we'd just be hanging out smoking. And he'd be freestyling, like, just like wowing us all the time. And I was like, at one point, I was like, man, I got to start, like, rapping. And, like, one point, he was just freestyling so hard, like, I literally like that sense of amazement you get where you kind of like laughing or like your eyes start to like tear up or something like that. It was like one of those moments, and I was like, man, we gotta like make like a rap group and start doing something. And that was definitely like high school and being expelled, and that was when I dropped out of all sports, and things kind of got wild again because my mom left my stepdad for another man. You see a pattern here. And then we didn't have anywhere to live. and then me and my sister kind of were on our own. And then so like I was like, okay, all I got is like I'm out of sports. I gotta work. I'm staying at my friend's house, and I'm making music with my homies whenever I can. Um, and that was a big moment. That was a big moment for sure.
How old were you when you said this? When she moved on?
That was, I think I was like 17. It was probably like 2015.
So then, what you said you got expelled for weed? What led up to that? What was that your first introduction to recreational? And then how old were
I was, let's see, that was probably more like 15, in between 15 and 16. Um, and that wasn't, I wouldn't say that was like my first time smoking. It was like, I started like when I was like 12, to be real. And then at that time, I was going between Anthus and Northrop. And we'd go to my dad's apartment, and my buddy who was driving us between Anthus and Northrop, um, we'd go hang out there, have some food. We'd usually smoke there, and then like one day we was running late, so we was smoking in the car, and we'd slide in right with the last lunch. Right when the last lunch broke out, we'd go to class and stuff, and we'd be good. But today we was running late, so lunch had already been dismissed, and we were walking up to the attendance office, and like we're just checking in. We're a little late between Anthus and Northrop, and then they called us back there, and then we're like, okay, like that's kind of weird, whatever. And then she took us straight to the vice principal's office and was like, "These boys smell happy," and then it was just my buddy got arrested. And I just got expelled because he was driving and all the shit was in his car, so they got him pretty bad. Um, but yeah, Ward was a cool time because all I did was write raps and write lyrics, essentially, because the classes were just so stupid.
you? Yeah, bro. You've been through a lot early on. Are you still close with both parents?
Yeah, they don't live in Indiana, but I still talk to them as much as I can. Um, my dad's back in Mexico, so I can't really. It's harder to see him. And my mom's in Illinois, so I see her once in a while.
What led to your dad going back to Mexico? Is that where he's from originally?
Yeah, that's where he's from, and I think it was just a culmination of like him being sick with like stomach ulcers, and then just really being tired of the American lifestyle. The Mexican culture is just a lot different. It's a lot more like family based, um, and it's just a lot more close knit. You know, in his house down there, he's got his sisters, his mom, his dad, his brothers, and cousins and stuff. And up here, you know, he just had me and my sister. And so I just feel like the American lifestyle is just making him really depressed. And I feel like he's a lot happier down there. And pretty much, yeah, that and him being sick.
What about you? How do you feel about the American culture? Do you wish to go to Mexico and live there? Do you want to stay here? Want to move?
I've thought about it. I've thought about it before. I mean, not only because, like, it's a lot cheaper and, like, your money, like, quadruples when you go down there, but it also like the culture was a big impact. When I went down there for my first time with memory, like I went down there when I was like 2, um, but I went down there when I was 18 after I graduated, and I don't know, seeing that like closeness with the family, like they didn't even know us, like me and my sister, but they took us in like they've known us forever, and you could just really feel that love. And like the dancing too, like I really loved the dancing and how much everybody was dancing, and it was just like a party all the time. Um, so I've definitely thought about moving down there, um, but it is a lot different. You know, it's a lot harder to find the things that we. It's, I guess not that we like take it for granted, but like for example, like my dad's wife down there didn't even know what wild rice is because of like how limited things are down there and stuff. So it would be a trade off, but it would be. I thought about doing like a short term thing, like maybe like a year or like 6 months or something. Um, I've always wanted to be fluent in Spanish. I know a decent amount, but definitely not fluent. And I feel like that would be the only way for me to become fluent is just like force myself to be down there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's say out of high school, or how did you finish in high school? You want to repeat say how that happened for you?
I did finish. I did. I was expelled my junior year, and then I came back my senior year. And at that point, I started taking like most of my academics at Anthus, and I kind of became like a ghost at Northrop. Um, I didn't even walk or go to prom or anything. I was just like, fuck school. Like, I just want to be done with this shit. And I damn near dropped out because my mom and her boyfriend were going out to California, and they offered me to go with them, and I really wanted to go with them. And they had gone out there like January or February of 16, the year I was graduating. And I was like, man, if I get out there earlier, it'd be better. But my mom really like urged me to like finish high school and to stay. But as soon as I graduated, um, I had a girlfriend at the time too, and I feel like that was kind of like an important part of all this. But I'd say what impacted me more was like her breaking up with me and cheating on me pretty much, and then like that was at the same time that after I graduated, I went to Mexico for a month, and then I came back, and then I went out to California with my mom and her boyfriend, all in the same summer. And I stayed out in California for like 7 months, and I feel like I had a really big like spiritual awakening, and just like a sense of purpose. That's when I was reflecting on like shit that happened to me in like childhood, and like what is my true passion, what always brings me that like childlike joy.